This is not financial advice, not legal advice, for entertainment, educational purposes only, and anything I say is my opinion. Please don't make any financial decisions based on anything I say in these videos. Listen, people have been asking me what I think about no enforcement on the swaps between Credit Suisse and UBS. So I dug into it a little deeper, and here's the thing. The CFTC is trying to justify no enforcement on the swaps by saying that these were legacy swaps, which means that these swaps happened before the rules came into place. So we're talking about, they're alleging that these swaps were like 2012, 2017, or something like that. That is absolute nonsense, okay? Absolute nonsense that they're trying to say that they had swaps that were over 10 years old. We know, anybody who's paying attention, that those swaps included GME, AMC, that were new. Archegos didn't have swaps that were that old, and that's what Credit Suisse inherited. And then UBS inherited those swaps, okay? They just don't want to do their job. What should have happened when UBS picked up Credit Suisse swaps? They were supposed to put up the collateral for those swaps, or they were supposed to wind them down. They were supposed to clear them out. But they alleged that they were legacy swaps, that these were swaps that were too old, that started prior to the CFTC rules. So therefore, CFTC is not enforcing it. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that UBS and Credit Suisse would give CFTC the real date of these swaps? Of course they wouldn't. They would lie to the CFTC. And the thing is, the CFTC has to know that GameStop and AMC are in those swaps, and those are not legacy swaps. Those are swaps that happened after the CFTC rules went into play. But CFTC is practicing willful blindness. They're saying that they're accepting the fact that Credit Suisse and UBS claim that these are legacy swaps, that these swaps were created prior to the rules, so therefore they don't have to enforce them. That is absolute nonsense. The CFTC doesn't want to enforce the rules of the swaps because they know it's going to cause GME to run, it's going to cause AMC to run, and it is going to bankrupt UBS. DOGE needs to investigate the real date of these swaps because everything I've seen, everything I've looked at tells me that these are not legacy swaps. These were swaps that were created around 2021, 2020, when GME and AMC buy button was shut down. Legacy swaps had to occur like 2012, probably maybe before 2017 when the rules were changing. But these swaps all occurred, not all, but a majority of them definitely occurred after 2017. So the fact that they're claiming they're legacy swaps and therefore they don't fall under the CFTC rules is absolute nonsense. But let's say they do have some swaps in there that are that old. What are you telling me? That these dudes, they can just create swaps 15, 20, 30 years and leave the counterfeit shares in there forever? I mean, it's absolutely crazy what they're allowed to do. So they're naked shorting companies, putting the counterfeit shares in swaps and never closing them. Swaps with no expiration date. And the CFTC knows what they're doing. The DOJ knows what they're doing. The SEC knows what they're doing. The FBI knows what they're doing. And they're doing absolutely nothing about it. Elon Musk, DOGE, investigate the date of the swaps that went from Credit Suisse to UBS. I do not believe that all of those swaps were legacy swaps. A majority of those swaps were AMC and, well, not a majority, but a lot of those swaps were AMC and GME and they definitely occurred after 2017, so they definitely fell under the CFTC new rules. UBS is trying to claim that these swaps originated before the rules went into place, and CFTC, without investigating it, without looking into it, is accepting their word as gospel. They're accepting their word as gospel when we know that a lot of those swaps were created to manipulate AMC and manipulate GME, and it was not before 2017 or 2012. Okay? These bad actors, these criminals need to be fully investigated, and DOGE needs to investigate the dates of these swaps. When were they originated? And even the swaps that were originated before 2017, 2012. How can you have swaps that never expire? Okay? And I did a video on that maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. The only reason you do that is create counterfeit shares and hide naked shorts. Okay? And that's what they're doing. They're creating counterfeit shares and hiding naked shorts. Anyway, please leave some comments. Tell me what you think. Do you think Credit Suisse and UBS would lie to the CFTC about the date these swaps were originated? Anyway, have a great day. God bless, and I appreciate y'all on this journey with me.